Hi, my name is Kimari. I'd like to talk about the Hudson Zebra. The best-selling whistle in the world was first used in a football match in 1878. The reason I've used this symbol is because it symbolizes competitive sports, and I wanted to demonstrate how competition affects power balances in relationships. Sports were invented by the Greeks, by the way, and embraced by the Romans, and they found themselves in the West because the West embraced Roman culture and the Greek culture. The problem of the whistle is that, unlike the shofar, which empowers the people, the whistle empowers the blower. So in a football match, when the referee blows the whistle, he draws attention to himself from everyone, including the spectators. Symbolically, most organizations are designed in a pyramid style, hierarchical style, which is very Greek and Roman in style, where power resides in one corner. So in everyday life, the whistle is probably the CEO or the senior most person in an organization. So when they speak, everyone freezes because everyone knows it's either a reprimand or possibly a reward. And what that does is that it robs power from all the other players. Actually, I would encourage you to read the book because the first chapter of the book talks about a guy called Wilson Dorr. Wilson Dorr was trying to fight for expanded voting rights in the Rhode Island in the US. And he was saying that because of the Roman culture, actually the Greek culture, and because of colonization, most colonies were being run like companies. They were actually companies. British East Africa was a company. And so they were shareholders. And the way constitutional rights were designed were to favor the big landowners, the big shareholders. The more land you held, the more votes you had. And US started running that basis. This guy was amongst the richest landholders. He was the son of one of the largest landholders in Rhode Island. But he was opposed to the idea that a vote should be equal to the size of land that you held. If you didn't have land, actually you couldn't vote.
Because the marginalized groups.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly how the elections are still run to this day.
Actually, that's what the deputy president was saying, that it's actually, this is a company, we are the shareholders, we won. That's very wrong, because voting should allow for equality. And in the same chapter, I demonstrate that you can expand executive power by embracing a style called holocracy, where everyone feels that they belong. In holocracy, there's no CEO. People work they actually sign a constitution amongst themselves. They work in small groups, working groups, and they execute projects where everyone is equal, is heard. And once they finish that project, they can evolve into new projects, they can evolve into new groups. And there are companies, and I've demonstrated companies, one in the Netherlands, one in the US, that employ holocracy as a style of management instead of hierarchy. Actually, this book is written for Africa because, based on my study, actually I narrowed down and asked myself, why hasn't Christianity worked for Africa, yet Christianity worked for America? So it can't be there's something wrong with Christianity. There's nothing wrong with Christianity. Christianity left Europe, and I demonstrated that in the book, prospered Northern America, left Europe, came to Africa, impoverished Africa. The problem is the power imbalance. The people who brought Christianity were also the colonizers. They sort of removed power from the people. And so that power imbalance plays out even in church. But more importantly is because Christianity, because it interacted with the Roman culture for a very long time, started embracing Roman attributes, including hierarchy. When I looked at other religions, dominant religions like Islam, Egypt embraces, even in the football, they embrace the culture of Islam. So it's very communal. And also tell the story of the Ismailis. They're very communal. And I realized is that Christianity, when it came to Africa, it came and taught us individualism, which was actually a Western culture. It was not in Christianity. If you look at the early Christians, there was no individualism. But now what we embraced through Christianity was a Western culture, which was counter-cultural to our culture of communalism. And that's the problem. Egyptian national team is the most successful team in Africa. They have won the most African Cup of Nations. But since 2011, they have not won a single cup. What happened in 2011 is that one of the best players, Mohamed Salah, went to play for Liverpool. He went to the West and he learned the Western culture and embraced the Western style. Before Mo Salah, most of the players who used to play for Egypt were not known, and majority of them used to play for local clubs in Egypt. So they practiced together for a long time. They became cohesive. For Egypt, it was not about celebrating an individual, it was about winning collectively until Mo Salah checked in. So he went to Europe, he's paid top dollar, one of the best players in the world, won many cups. But since his entry, Egypt has not won a cup. So because he destroyed the culture of how Egyptians play their football. And that's exactly what Christianity did too.